Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Grudge Match, the show that allows the heroes and villains who call different universes home to come together to pit their skills against one another in order to determine who is the best around. Today's episode sees two contestants who personify the term femme fatales going head-to-head. From DC, it's the mistress of martial arts, Lady Shiva, and from Marvel, the assassin extraordinaire, Elektra. These two ladies have a lot in common in that both of them started off their lives with absolutely no superpowers at all, but rose to the ranks of the best of the best of the best fighters among their respective universes through nothing more than grit, determination, and natural ability and inclination towards hand-to-hand combat skills. Also, both of these women have farmed out their skills as mercenaries and assassins to the highest bidder for a time, and both have taken the reins of their respective universes' premier assassins organization, Lady Shiva taking over the League of Assassins for a time, and Elektra taking over the assassins group The Hand. Now examining them individually, Lady Shiva was created in 1976. Her real name is Sandra Wu-San. Her sister was murdered at a young age, and believing that she needed to train herself to the absolute peak of human potential when it came to fighting skills in order to track down and punish her killer, she did just that. She devoted her entire life to training herself to become the best hand-to-hand combatant possible, and she very well succeeded. Throughout the course of the rest of her life, she mastered practically every martial art she ever came across. Her life's ambition is to travel all over the world, meeting masters of every fighting skill she can possibly find and having them train her. And at this point in her career, she's pretty well amassed an unparalleled level of martial arts skill and knowledge. She has even defeated some of the top-tier hand-to-hand combatants in the DC Universe, including Batman and several others, including various people who have taken over the reins as Robin, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, and Connor Hawke, the second Green Arrow. Now, even though she doesn't have any inherent superpowers herself, she has been able to develop a very indomitable will through the use of ninja training techniques, which make her immune to psychic manipulation and make her very capable of overcoming fear and intimidation that any opponent happens to level against her. Elektra, created in 1981 for Marvel Comics, started off as a foe and somewhat love interest of the hero Daredevil. Elektra Nachios has been training her entire life to be one of the world's premier assassins, and she has earned that respect and that title throughout the Marvel Universe. She is considered by many to be the deadliest woman in the world and one of the flat-out deadliest people on the planet, despite the fact that she doesn't have any inherent superpowers herself. Like Lady Shiva, Elektra has also trained in various martial art forms and ninja techniques, but her skill and mastery of ninjutsu specifically is even more advanced, which has allowed her to develop some degree of what seem to be superhuman abilities, which take the form of hypnosis and various sort of psychic techniques. The ability to take over someone's mind in a limited form, the ability to use psychic screening to find people even in the dark or who are hidden. However, these powers probably wouldn't come into play and be very handy against Lady Shiva, as Lady Shiva has that indomitable will, which makes her virtually immune to even high-level psychic attack and manipulation. So really, when it comes to these two fighting, it is really going to come down to hand-to-hand combat techniques and who is simply the better fighter between the two. Now, where Elektra's fighting skills are concerned, she primarily relies on ninja skills and fighting techniques, although she has expanded her repertoire of fighting abilities beyond just simply that into a variety of other Asian martial arts styles. She is also quite proficient with utilizing the twin psi weapons, which she most often chooses to utilize as her primary method of attack in combat. Lady Shiva also very adept with various hand weapons, katanas, sais, and virtually any hand weapon that she regards as lethal. She's not a big fan particularly of hand weapons that are non-lethal in nature. So now, having looked at the skills and abilities of these two femme fatales, it's time now to determine who would be the winner if these two were to ever collide in one-on-one competition. And that winner's going to be Lady Shiva. DC's dominating diva is going to go home with top honors in this grudge match. When the two collide, it really seems to be a toss-up and very close competition between the two. They are among the absolute best hand-to-hand fighters in their respective universes. Lady Shiva having a very good claim to fame in being able to defeat Batman in single combat, but Elektra proving no slouch in being able to take on Daredevil in combat herself. So, the only factor that really separates these two is that Elektra seems to have a slight edge in superhuman ability with the psychic abilities inherent to her ninja training. But again, because of Lady Shiva's indomitable will and mental conditioning, those would prove ineffective against her. But from Lady Shiva's perspective, the thing she comes into the fight as having superior is her obsession with training herself to be better than everyone else she can possibly find. It is Lady Shiva's life's mission to be the best combatant around. Whereas Elektra wants to be a very proficient assassin and mercenary, she's not quite obsessed with being better than everyone she happens to meet. She's not obsessed with training herself to absolute peak ability all the time. So Lady Shiva's insistence on being better and obsession with training herself to the best of her ability constantly gives her just a slight edge and advantage when it comes to the fight between these two. So Lady Shiva and DC are going to go home victorious in this grudge match. Message me down below and let me know what you think of the outcome of this fight, and of course any suggestions for future grudge matches. And we'll see you next time on the next edition of Grudge Match.